Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, and as always, no bullshit. This is the not-so-special Teams edition. Plus, I'm going to talk about just injuries really quick that have mounted up. The whole hot tub time machine. It seems like the Denver Broncos special teams has regressed when you compare them to their counterparts on both Atlanta and Seattle. They are much worse than those two teams. I mean, if we're barring that, we're saying, oh, it's just preseason. Well, it's preseason for them too. What I'm seeing is a lot of missed tackles. There's some fumbling and stumbling going on. Patrick gets down there, the wide receiver, quick, but he can't tackle anything to save his life. And if this trend continues, this is kind of a dedication to all you 12-4, 10-6 people, these grandioso records for the Denver Broncos. If this trend with the special teams continues, you're going to have very short fields for the defense to have to overcome because you'll have fumbling and stumbling, and you're going to have long drives by the offense, which may end up in more field goals instead of shortening the field. This is going to make it very taxing for both the offense and defense. If you want to really make, and you know the schedule. If you want to make this any more difficult than it already is. One thing I noted that I thought Muhammad was one of the better return guys on the team that they had. Something else I want to note is I note that both Seattle and Atlanta have an approach, and that's to kick it. Now, I don't know if they're going to do this, the opposing teams are going to do this as when the season starts, or they're just working on checking this out, but they're essentially like daring the Broncos to return, so they're not kicking it in the end zone. They're kicking it to around the 5-yard line, betting that they can pin the Broncos back. And for the most part, they are, because of the blocking. Again, it's tackling, it's a lot of things is really, really bad. So they're able to pin the Broncos down, and I would say when the Seattle game, both special teams were getting equally penalized. So against San Francisco, you better see that greatly improves. If we get 3 weeks straight of bad special teams, all I can say is brace for impact, because it's a long season ahead. We're going to talk about the injuries to the running backs in particular. I'm a bit concerned with Riddick's injury, seeing that it's a shoulder and it's I think it's a hairline fracture is what I heard. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I know it's a shoulder injury, but I believe it's a hairline fracture. Problem with this injury is that, they're figuring he can come back in 6 weeks, but the probability of re-injuring that is extremely high. So you keep this guy on the roster. I know that they want him, and I know he's good, but now he's pretty much damaged goods. Booker is completely healthy, and I said Booker could go if Riddick is good to go, but Riddick's not good to go, and Booker isn't exactly a slouch. Even under the Vance Joseph debacle, he managed to improve himself. He averages 5 yards a carry, and that's something you can't just you can't just poo-poo. He's also good as a receiver, so. I don't think you can get rid of him. Muhammad, like I said, would probably be great on the special teams. Maybe one of the, I don't know, they have a running back, Joe, something. I have to look into it. Maybe you have to let him go, but, it may be a painful cut, but you may want to get rid of Riddick, although there may be a team that can carry him, and let him nurse his injuries and maybe that's what they're afraid of. They don't want to lose him even if he's injured. So, but, at this point, they're going to have to keep their running backs intact. Janovich being the fullback. If you noticed, even New England was running doing a lot with running backs and fullbacks. It's kind of an up-and-coming offensive scheme. And Scandrella was, and Fangio was going to start incorporating that, and they still can. But now you keep Austin because a pec injury is another one of those injuries that can go all season long. Fortunately, though, you're a fullback, so you are you're doing a lot of blocking, so that's where that can come back to bite you. So these are two significant injuries that could linger all year long. So they may, if they're going to be running fullbacks, it may be, maybe they could put Austin on a practice squad. Fangio said fullbacks are hard to come by. He could end up on another team. There is that possibility with teams now utilizing more backs in their schemes. Now that more teams are implementing full back and halfback option type plays, they're incorporating more of that. Austin could be picked up on waiver wires. Do you cut your losses? It's not bad enough to put them on the IR. That's the problem. But these are, again, both Riddick and Janovich injuries are season-long lingers. And if they're not going to be really contributing because, they'll play for a couple of weeks, then they're out again, nursing injuries for 3 or 4 weeks, do we need to get people that are healthy and just get them in there? So, I don't know. What do you think? Riddick is probably going to be, you keep him, and then if you're dealing with, now he's out for another 2 or 3 weeks, what was it worth? If you just cut him and go with Booker because you're kind of forced to, it's not that bad of a situation. Booker isn't that bad. You're not going to get the elevation, but you're not going to drop off so much that it affects your game plan too. So. And then the linebacking, maybe they have to carry some more linebackers. The fact they're moving Jamal Carter, I think it is, to inside linebacker is kind of scary. I know the guy wants to do that, but it really shows how thin they are at linebacker. Maybe you have to carry more linebacking, and you'll have to sacrifice a Theo Riddick. So the Broncos are already dealing with things that could significantly impact their season moving forward.